Hey Tyrian Talkers, welcome back to the channel. Look at this spacious, gorgeous cabin. Lots of light flooding in. Whatever car I'm in, this would be the perfect place to relax. But no, it's the IONIQ 6 and all my PTSD or whatever is bubbling over from every single time I've driven this car before. We are going to talk about the latest problems with this car since the ICC issue a few months ago. I'm going to try and start off with some positives, but we're going to get through everything I can think of that you need to know if you are considering buying an IONIQ 6 or indeed an IONIQ 5 because they share the same platform. Let's get into it. Welcome back. If you've clicked on this video, it's because you either own a Hyundai IONIQ 6 or even an IONIQ 5, or you're considering buying one. So I want to welcome you if you're new and encourage you to check out my previous videos, one being the 12-month ownership review of the car, and then the follow-up from around July, August 2025, where I talk about the issues that we had in relation to the known ICCU issue with these cars. And if you're returning to the channel because you are one of my fellow long-suffering Hyundai IONIQ 6 owners, then welcome back to you, and thank you so much for all your support and for just forming a really lovely little sub-community over in what we call the Hyundai space on Tailoring Talk. Please do all the YouTubey stuff, like, subscribe, help support the channel, and you can check out our channel memberships to stay tuned and ahead of our magazine style content. And now let's get on to talking about this car. So where am I? First of all, it's a gorgeous but very, very cold -2 morning here in London, and I'm currently stuck in traffic on the North Circular. And I have to say, unless I had a Rolls Royce, there probably wouldn't be many more comfortable cars to be sat in traffic on this road. Now, I am on my way to get the car looked at because of a number of other issues that have not cropped up. They've actually been around for some time now, but our dealer that's 5 minutes away from us, which is Endeavour North London, they are so backed up that when I called them late September to get the car booked in, and the car actually has some advisories that they asked us to bring it in for, and those are the braking system and also some kind of blowout to one of the tires at the front, and there's something else going on as well. Can't remember what it is, but they couldn't book the car in for nearly 3 months, which is absolutely ridiculous. And I'm going to talk about the tire swelling problem at some point. So anyway, I had a ring around and eventually got hold of Chiswick Hyundai, who is sort of out further towards Heathrow, west of London. And that's where I'm going now. It's not a disaster. It's about an hour's drive, but then to get back from there, the nearest train station's a Southwestern train station that's only operating 2 trains, or 1 train every 2 hours or something. I can't remember. So I need to spend 45 quid on a cab to get from there back to central London, where I can then get a Northern line back to North London, where I come from. And then Lord knows what's going to happen when the car's ready, but we'll get to that when we get to it. I'm not sure they're going to give the car back same day with some of the issues that it's got. I think it might take a little bit longer. So my wife is going to have to use the Audi TT for the duration of the repairs to this. Okay, so where to start? Well, look, let's start with some of the things that are really good about this car. Got something in my eye there. So, and also, by the way, this might end up being a one take no cuts video, and forgive me for that. I mean, usually I edit our videos to the nth degree, but I might just dump this out there for you, because to be fair, it is for a very specific audience. Okay, so Hyundai IONIQ 6, if you're considering buying one, they have just refreshed it, so there is a revised model, the 2026, which you'll be going for, and it might not have the problems that the previous version had, so I will just put that out there. As this video grows old on YouTube and people find it, if you're driving a 2026 model and later, then please do share your experiences in the comments. It really does help a lot of people. And I can't remember where I was now, but anyway, so this one here was collected in 23. Yeah, like spring 2023. So we've had it for over 18 months now. And it's a lovely car to drive. It's very, very big. It's a really, really nice drive. It's just comfortable. If you have ever been in one of any of these sort of big cars, like an S-Series Merc or a 5 or 7 Series BMW, you know, like a Rolls Royce or something like that, while it might not be up to quite the quality of those cars that I've mentioned, and it is actually a decent quality cabin, it kind of feels like that to drive. Like, you don't want to race around in it. It's just comfortable. It's just nice, and sometimes there's nothing wrong with nice. And sometimes, you know, it's kind of nice for me to take this car and borrow it certain days when I just want a break from the M2. So there we go. Yeah, people that are new to the channel, my actual daily is a BMW M2 G87 LCI. So yeah, so you'll find this a very practical, very comfortable car if you're considering it. The front seat, the front of the cabin is great. There's loads of room. There's loads of room at the back, and because it's a flat floor, you know, someone can sit in the middle very, very comfortably. I actually did the other night when we went out to dinner with a friend, and I let him sit up front. We had the 2 dogs in the back. We've got the sort of dog beds back there, and then I sort of squeezed in the middle between them, which my dogs were infinitely happy about. But I was so comfortable back there, and you know, it's like a first class air cabin. It's got that kind of vibe to it. Also has that kind of vibe to it with a lot of the bings and bongs and some of the whining noises that you get in here, but I'll come on to that. There's lots of light in the car. The windows are very, very big and spacious, and you can kind of see that behind me, that, you know, with the panoramic roof cover, this has got a sunroof actually, but with the sunroof cover deactivated to let as much light in as possible, it is just a really nice, pleasant place to be. The boot space is amazing. Here's the problem, right? I keep hesitating, so it's like I said, it's a nice place to be, and then immediately a negative popped into my head, so I'm trying to start positive. The boot space is awesome. I know there are people on previous videos that have said I'm mad, but honestly, there's a lot of boot space. You can get so much in this car, and when you put the back seats down and you've got the through loading, it's not the most like kind of easy to deal with if you've got sort of big square shaped items, but you can get a lot in there. I reckon, you know, if you're a family, you could easily get a pushchair or 2 or a double buggy or whatever. Certainly I've been able to get a road bike into this car without having to dismantle it or take the wheel off or anything. I've even been able to actually get my road bike in on the footwell in the back seats, just put it through the doors. What else is good about it? The heated steering wheel is lovely, really, really good. And the range is actually pretty decent. I know I moaned about the range on an early video, but that was because I was an EV newbie and quite skeptical. But over time, I've got used to it. You just have to plan, basically. And my wife obviously takes control because this is her daily. And her philosophy is basically to put the car on charge at home. And we are fortunate to have home charging. But she puts it on charge when she sees the battery get down to about 40 to 30%. She just tops it back up again. And it's very cheap to run, I have to say. I filled up my M2 yesterday, and that's only got a small tank on it. But that costs the best part of 70 quid to fill up with E5. And this thing, we plug it in, and basically we're with Octopus Energy, and they take over the charge of the car. So when you plug it in, it waits for a surplus, and then they basically use the surplus on the grid to charge your car. And that equates to about 7 pence a kilowatt. It might be slightly less than that. but certainly no more. So let's say it's 7% pence a kilowatt hour. So if we're charging when our battery's at 30%, and I know there'll be like EV geeks in the comments who will have worked this out already, but 7 pence a kilowatt hour if you're an EV newbie. So the battery has a capacity of 74 kilowatt hours, and if we're charging at 30%, that means that we are charging 71421. So we're charging 53 kilowatt hours. So 53 times 7 is, I don't know, but probably it's costing us roughly £4 to charge this big tank up, which is pretty good. It's not really impacting our electricity bill, which is great. And then in terms of the amount of mileage you get out of it, we're getting roughly, I would say for in-town driving, we're getting about just over 200 miles. And then when we do motorway driving, we probably get a bit more than that. We get like, we've been able to go to Cambridge and back actually, and still have about 40% of the tank battery left. So that's about 200-mile round trip, and then you add 40% to that, and then you're knocking up to like nearly 300 miles out of a full charge, which is pretty good. And that's without sort of skimping on any of the amenities in the car. That's with having everything on, because my wife loves to have the heating and the heated steering wheel and the the heated seats. Yeah, everything on full blast. So the Bose surround sound system in this car is very, very good. It didn't sound so great at the beginning, and I have seen other owners moan about the sound in this car. I don't understand why, but I mean, initially it wasn't that impressive, but once I went into the settings and sorted out the equalizer and stuff, it's really good. You know, it's as good as the Harman Kardons in my BMWs or the Bose systems that I've had in my Audis in the past. It's great. What else is good about it? It gets a lot of looks. A lot of people stop and admire it. Either they admire it or they're scratching their heads because it is such a weird design. And certainly when we went to Hyundai originally, we were going for the IONIQ 5, and I love the design of the IONIQ 5. It's so retro. It really gives me, you know, old 80s Lancia slash, you know, DeLorean kind of vibes. It's just so futuristic but contemporary, but retro at the same time. And I really love the IONIQ 5. This has, it kind of starts off being, you know, like a face that only a mother could love, but over time you really do actually grow to like it. I love the back end on this car. I think it looks really cool actually. The front end I always thought's a little bit weak, but they've fixed that with the 2026 model. The 26 model looks really good. Like, they've changed the front end for, I think it's like, you know, basically lighting at the front just looks a lot more, it looks tighter. It doesn't look weak. The front end of this kind of looks a bit like that sort of pre-2026 Tesla front end with the two weak headlights, and the bonnet really dips down. I mean, like right now I'm sitting here, I can't see the bonnet. It just, the way it swoops, you wouldn't sometimes think that you're in such a long car. So yeah, the design is a grower. The design definitely works though, because it was designed for optimum aerodynamics and efficiency, and certainly we have found that to be the case. When it's on the motorway and you've got the windows shut, there's not that much drag on this car at all. It really does sort of flow. And with that, that's the end of all the good stuff that I've got to say about it. Now, what problems are we having at the moment? So, I mean, it's blinking at me, so I'll mention it. Low tyre pressure, constant. The tyre pressures bounce around, and I realise that is affected by the weather externally, but I'm wondering if the tyre pressure monitoring on these cars is way too sensitive. Like, I think you need to have your tyres at about 35, 36 or whatever it is, and even when I pump them up to the correct pressure, it still tells me that the tyre pressure is low. it is so random. Like when I got in the car, it was telling me that 3 of the tyres had low tyre pressure. Now the tyres are warmed up and I've been driving for a bit, it's telling me that all of them have got low tyre pressure. They're all reading different numbers and that swaps around all the time. And when you put the pressure to the correct level, everyone on my last video, my last short about that, when the problem first appeared, you know, we're very quick to say, oh, well, you need to fill the tyre pressure up to the correct pressure. And if you look inside the door, there's a little label that tells you what you should be doing. And then once you've filled it to the correct pressure, either reset it in the system or drive it for a few miles and then the system will reset it. So I know that. Like, seriously, I've probably owned more cars in the last 7-8 years than most of you have had hot dinners, okay? I know that. I know how to do the tyre pressures, get them to the right level and reset them. I know that. This car doesn't do it. And for some of you keyboard warriors out there, sometimes things don't work. It's not because someone's stupid. It's because there's either not a way of doing it. So to the first point, reset the tyre pressures in the menu system. You cannot do that in the IONIQ 6. Definitely not with the software version that we've got anyway. And as for driving it for a while, guess what? We've driven the car for hundreds of miles. Like, literally, this damn thing never resets itself because it can never decide what the correct level is. I don't get this time pressure monitoring on the M2. I don't get it on the TT. I certainly don't get it or haven't had it on any car that we've owned previous. The Audi Q3, BMW 3 Series, BMW 1 Series, the Mini John Cooper Works, Mini Cooper S, Audi TTS, the previous Mark II Audi TT that we had, the Volvo XC40, and we hated that car. So, like, you people, shut up. Like, go away. Seriously, you don't help anyone by jumping on and just making stupid comments that really aren't. I'm beginning to think a lot of people comment on these videos, the negative people, and what they're commenting is not based on fact. They've never driven a BMW M2. They've never driven a Hyundai IONIQ 6. So they actually don't know what they're talking about. They've either just been onto a bunch of Reddit threads or they're just making it up just to be dickheads. So there we go. Anyway, that's my little side rant over. So that's the tyre pressure thing. There's a high-pitched whining coming from somewhere in this direction. If anyone else has got it, please let me know. We thought we had tinnitus all of a sudden. So I think it was when I was picking Carolina up from the airport a few weeks ago, and it started, and both of us looked at each other, and it's at a certain frequency level, okay? So I'm not going mad, but because we both heard it. But we both, I said, oh God, she said, I think I got tinnitus, maybe from the flight. And I was like, I think I've got tinnitus, just maybe I've been doing too much YouTube video editing. But we could both hear it. Sorry, excuse me, I was so dehydrated this morning. I've had to get up so early to do this run, to drop this car off, because they wanted it at 8 o'clock, and it's like, oh God. I'm not going to get there, I'm going to be like 20 minutes late. So there's this high-pitched whining noise now when the car's at sort of around, I'd say sort of between 25 to 35 miles an hour. It's so weird. What else has been going wrong with it? The tyre thing. Okay, so she's had 4 blowouts in the first 12 months, which is not normal. And now there's a new advisory where there's some swelling on, I think it's that tyre over there, the passenger side one. I did read on some, having moaned about Reddit threads, I did read on some forums that people worldwide have been having problems with the stock tyres that Hyundai supplies, which are Pirelli, I want to say they're P0s, but I might be getting that mixed up with my M2. But they're Pirelli some things, and there's a problem with them. People that have had Hankooks haven't had an issue, but people that have had Pirellis have had this issue with swelling on the tyres, and some people have had blowouts, like they might have clipped a curb, or it might have, I don't know, they hit a pothole or something and then just the whole tyre's just blown out. And I think that's the problem that we've got. I don't think the profile of tyre is right for this car. You've got massive 21 rims on this thing that weighs, it must weigh over 2 tons. And yeah, you've got SUV weight on lower profile tyres, which I don't think is the best combination. It looks good, like it really, really looks good, but I'd almost preferred if they'd put, and I know there are versions of the 6 that you can get on 19s even, but from memory, they don't really give you a choice. If you go for a trim of car, then that's what it comes with. So yeah, the wheels look really, really good, but I don't think they're the most like practical setup for the weight and everything and the size. So yeah, so that's that. Tires. Software. So originally, when we got this car, you could go into the settings, and it was a bit of a faff, but you could go into the settings to the driver safety systems, and you could turn off the speed limit alert, which is where if you exceed the speed limit, the car just keeps beeping at you to let you know, which can be handy when you're driving around in town. So you could switch that off, and you could switch a couple of other things off as well. There was then a software update where they made it so that you could turn off that by holding down the mute button for a few seconds on the steering wheel, a bit like you can do in BMWs, where like in my M2, if I hold the menu or set button, I think it is, for literally for 2 seconds, it just turns that stuff off. And in the menu you can actually do a swipe down shortcut to get to the driver assistance stuff, and then you can just couple clicks and turn everything off. So Hyundai did a software update, and it was I think it was in spring 2024, which meant that after the update, you could literally just hold down the mute button on the steering wheel and it would just turn SLA off. Yeah, our car went in for that software update because it was part of the first service, the 1-year service. And not only did we not get that feature, but whatever they did wiped out the ability to change any of the driver assistance settings in the main menu. So we are stuck with all of it. We can't turn any of it off. Now, kindly, a lot of viewers, the Hyundai viewers on this channel, did say that, and these are people from all over the world, not just the UK, and I've had viewers in Canada, some in America, across Europe, Germany, Austria, Poland, who've said that the software update needed to be done in a certain order, and a lot of dealers were making a mistake with it, and it sounded like they had screwed up the software update in our car. I told our dealership this time and time again last year. I mean, every time it went in, when it went in for the ICCU recall, etc., and for any servicing, I told them, and they were like, yeah, okay, we'll look at it and sort it if we find that that is an issue. And they did nothing, absolutely nothing. And so we've been stuck with a car that, okay, this morning it's been better because I've been stuck in traffic. Okay, there's just as I say it, there's a beep. But generally, for normal driving around, it's not so much that there are all these alerts, it's that there is so many different types of sound that, you know, because there'll be cross traffic, there's something in front of you, there's something at the side of you, there's something behind you, there's a speed camera coming up, there's a change in the speed limit, you're over the speed limit, the car in front is moving off, this and that. I mean, there's an alert and a different type of sound for just about everything that can happen when you're driving a car. I don't know the difference between all the alerts, and I can't tell you how distressing it bloody is. And then you can't turn any of it off. So so that's just another thing to say. And then this is not a problem with the car, this is just a characteristic of the user interface. One thing I will warn you, especially if you're if you're coming out of something like a BMW that has the iDrive system, which means that you don't have to keep risking your life every single time you need to change something on the menu, because you can just use the iDrive wheel and it's so much safer. In this, I know there are people that will be tapping away going, you've got voice control. Trust me, voice control in this system never works properly. And to be honest, it doesn't in the BMW either. Like, no one's perfect, but it is a struggle. The OS on this car is laggy. I mean, it's not super laggy, but it's enough that if you press a button for climate control and it's long enough that it doesn't do anything for like 2 seconds, and then you press it again thinking you didn't press it properly, and then it goes into the setting you wanted and you're like, oh great, and then it comes back out again. So you need to have a little bit of patience with the menu system in here. I don't think it's super intuitive, and again, I'm coming at this from BMW standards, so other people will have an opinion, but I just think that BMW make the best in-car entertainment systems and customer user interfaces in the industry, even to the point where I noticed that in the Rolls Royce that I was in the summer, I said to the driver, and this was at Goodwood Festival of Speed, it's not that I've got a private chauffeur, I wish I had, but I was just noticing how he was operating everything, and I said to him, wow, this is the best infotainment system I've seen since BMW. And he said, yeah, that's because it's iDrive. I didn't know that BMW owned Rolls Royce, but anyway, there we go, back to this car. So yeah, so the infotainment system's not the best. It's decent. I wouldn't say it's terrible, but you've got to be slightly patient with it. And my voice is going, so I'm going to end it here. So I'll do a follow-up video post-service and let you know what happened. This isn't actually a service, sorry, it's going there for this long list of problems with the car that they're hopefully going to solve. So yeah, I'll do another quick follow-up so that you know what happened. I might actually just film it and tag it onto this video, so just hang in there, and I'll put that on next. But thank you for watching. Oh my god, thank you for watching. And if you've got an IONIQ 6, just make sure that you drop your comments and experiences, and anything that you can help with would be much appreciated. And if you do have a dealership that's good, because ours is total shite, don't just say, my dealership's fantastic, I get great customer service. Tell us who they are and where you are located, so that other people in your neighbourhood can find them as well. So yeah, please don't just drop comments and don't give any facts or any further information. Don't just make stupid statements that don't help anyone. If you're going to comment, try and do it in a way that gives value to someone that might be reading it. Like, gives them something they can take away that they can actually practically use. Obviously, if you're just commenting to compliment the video and say hi, that's absolutely fine too. So yeah, there we go. Right, let's continue the rest of this journey. I've got 10 minutes to go, and I will let you know how I get on.